All right, so we're discussing scale biology and control. What we're looking at in this picture is if you can see where that little arrow is pointing directly at that green dot, that is a Croton scale. And if you notice on the other stem and above it, you got them in all different colors from tan white to greenish white, greenish translucent. This is a scale that attacks, I think, about 150 species to 200 species of plants. But it is known as the Croton scale. Where are you going to see this? Well, normally in the trunk, behind the leaf, on the vein, around that area where they can be close to that vein and suck the most juice. And identifying them is difficult sometimes because people think that it's actually part of the plant. No, so what you do is you tend to, if you suspect that you have a plant pest, what you do is you take your nail and you scrape it along that trunk and see what comes off. And you touch it, it should be sticky, slimy. That's an indication that you have a live scale insect. If you've been spraying it and you touch it and it flakes off and it's kind of dusty and dry, chances are it is dead, even though it's still sticking to the plant because it doesn't fall off very easily. Now, there are over 180 species of scale insect in Florida. Yes, sometimes you can go insane depending on where you're at in Florida and what time of year it is with different types of scale, both armored and soft scales. And we're going to be discussing the difference between the two. Now, adult females are sedentary, they're wingless, and they produce offspring. So basically, these guys don't move a whole lot. They only tend to move when they're nymphs in the crawling stages. Now, they're dispersed by attaching itself to birds, crawling across to other plants, or wind. Wind is a big carrier of all these types of insects. Males go through 4 life stages. They develop wings as adults. Females can reproduce sexually or parthenogenically, meaning they don't have to have sex to reproduce, just like aphids. So identifying the males could indicate that you're going to have an infestation on that plant very soon because they're reproducing. Let's talk about armor scale. These are the hard scales. They produce offspring either Let's talk about armor scale. These guys can either reproduce internally Let's talk about armor scale. They can reproduce internally. They deposit the eggs underneath the body where the wax covering is. Okay, the scale is underneath and they create this hard wax covering and they deposit. Now, typically in the tens of hundreds. So what happens when you are used to doing, let's say people that are used to doing pest control in northern Florida and they're down in southern Florida and they have a quarterly service. Quarterly services tend to be very ineffective because pesticide sprays usually will only last 7 to 14 days on a plant. Photodegradation is going to come in with excess rain in the summer. The half-life of a product on a leaf is very short. So when you're killing these insects, if you're not penetrating them and